Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside the latest edition of Post Game Live across the Cavs on this Monday night, March 18th. Happy birthday. CJ Miles goes by on social at Mas Fresco. What a win for the Cleveland Cavaliers tonight. Donovan Mitchell messed up his nose on Saturday, and we also found out that perhaps his ankle, or rather perhaps his knee, which was giving him problems, was not fully good. It was not all there. So no Donovan, no Mobley, no Strus, no Wade. Oh, wait. A new challenger has walked in. His name is Marcus Morris. 14 points in 20 minutes of action. That is how you introduce yourself to the Cavalier faithful. 4 threes, including a bucket late in the third quarter that certainly helped swing the tide Cleveland's way. And then when the game was on the line in the final minutes, it was very clear that Darius was not at his best in the fourth quarter. He has struggled at times in fourth quarters this season. Karis LeVert says, no problem. After missing a shot on the previous possession, LeVert takes it to the bucket, gives the Cavs the lead. The defense carried them the rest of the way. Jarrett Allen to Isaac Okoro for the layup that sealed the deal. Very, very smart and successful challenge from JB Bickerstaff. It was very clear to me, and likely to many of you watching at home, that Niang did nothing wrong. Can we show some love for George Niang? I mean, he's had his moments throughout the season. He had finished the day with 13 points, 2 rebounds, and a block. His defense in the fourth quarter and late in the game was so good. George Niang, Flint. George Niang was let him know. He was absolutely let him know. Niang was all over defensively when he needed to be. Every player on the Cavs in these recent weeks has shown strides on the defensive side of things when the team has needed it most. And I feel that, or at least right now, look, there have been days that haven't been so good. We know that. Because Saturday against the Rockets, the Cavs were so flat-footed that there was not a surface in which they would have tripped on. It was horrible on Saturday. Whether they were out partying in Houston or they just didn't hydrate, or whatever it was that happened. We're at a point in the season where you can't just let bad performances go by the wayside. But you think about tonight, a game where they trailed by as many as 15, and you think about other performances in this crazy month of March, which features 17 Cavs games in 31 days. You think about the Boston win 2 weeks ago. You think about the Minnesota win a few days after that. Now, we can also think, about that Nets game where they just did not want to be there, clearly. We could think about the Rockets game. But the thing about why this win is so important is the standings are getting really close in the East. The Cavs are only 5 games out of the play-in right now. 5 games does not sound like a lot, but you think about how quick things can change, and you have to be wary. You take down Indiana, a potential first-round opponent tonight, knocking them back into a dead heat with Miami and Philly, both of whom are playing as we speak, actually against one another on ESPN. So Indiana's been a tough team throughout the season. They handled the Cavs a couple of times back in October, November. So to take this win pretty much says we're in this late part of the season. We're shorthanded. Hey, we just added Marcus Morris, and hey, we're still out here. We're not going anywhere. The Cavs are not going anywhere, this season, and what some of the things maybe we've learned from the Cavs this season, maybe that's different from years past. They can win these games extremely shorthanded, because 2 years ago, the Cavs ended up in the play-in after Mobley and Allen both went down and had injuries to other positions as well. And obviously, Colin Sexton was never walking through that door. The magic of Ricky Rubio was shut down early when he had gotten injured. So they were really running on fumes. This team has been without all-stars for much, much, much of the season. And as we look at where the Cavs sit after tonight now at 43-25, I am not the only person that has overreacted to many losses, and I'm not the only person that has also spoken negatively about JB Bickerstaff. And all things considered, he has done some really, really good things this season. And I feel the way that Caris LeVert's usage has changed in these last 7 games, a big part of it being injuries, but 7+ assists for his 7th game in a row. He got the start. He played 38 minutes, shot 7 of 15, 8 of 11 at the line, 23, 8, and 11. Had a big block on that corner 3 from Nesmith, leading the Cavs the ability to use a timeout with about 3 minutes left in the game. Tristan Thompson was a +7, +13 in the first half, creating several offensive rebound opportunities. I like the way that JB's doing the center rotation, just like the Heat do with Bam and sometimes how the Bucks do with Giannis. Play him 6 or 7 minutes to start, then take him out, sit him for 6 or 7 minutes, then put him back in instead of playing a whole quarter and then starting a quarter on the bench. Because in doing that, you're perhaps allowing for additional rest time. And look, Darius was not at his best. He shot 5 for 18, 13, 6, and 7. He turned it over 5 times. Missed a couple of free throws. Darius Garland in the third quarter gave the Cavs what they needed, a couple of threes, some jumpers, a bit of a cushion. He had that lefty bucket early in the fourth, which would prove to be his final points of the game to get things a little closer. All things considered, thinking about this Cleveland Cavaliers performance tonight, we should be all smiles. So if Darius had an off night, they didn't have 3 other starters, and they still won. Doesn't matter how they did it. It's that they did it. Niang and Morris both stepping up to the plate as the power forwards. Isaac Okoro only scored 9 points, but he gave you the 2 biggest points of the game when you absolutely needed to have them. Morris spaced the floor brilliantly, and Jarrett Allen had a very quiet night, it would seem, but had 23 points and 9 rebounds after being a real negative for that bulk of the first half. So as we put tonight in the rear view mirror and look ahead, and the Cavs do have a few more tough games this week. It's not getting any easier right now. You got the Heat on Wednesday, the Timberwolves on Friday, and then the Heat again on Sunday. You got the Hornets Monday, then you got the Hornets again, and the Sixers. These next 6 games will feature 3 at home, but there's no back-to-back home games, as has been mentioned on the broadcast. They don't play 2 games in the same city until the first weekend of April. So the big picture that we're taking away from tonight is that the Cleveland Cavaliers were better than the Indiana Pacers tonight. The Indiana Pacers are without Benedict Mathurin for the rest of the season, and we do hope he gets well soon. But, Indiana, outside of Indiana really didn't have a player break out. Pascal at 19 and 12. McConnell did his thing. Tyrese Halliburton had 14 points and 12 assists. He shot 4 of 14. Cavs held Indy to 9 of 38 from deep. Jalen Smith got hot early, end of the day, 3 for 9. Miles Turner had just 12 points and 3 rebounds. He was missing in action. All things considered, for no Pacer to break 20 points, for Caris and Jarrett Allen, they're 23 each, to be the most by any player on the court, I think speaks volumes to what this team can do and where they're at right now. So the post game is done. Jeffrey Santa will join me now offline. We'll be posting it after. We're talking more about this game, and we're looking at the Morris signing and perhaps resetting some expectations for the Cavs in the long term. But for tonight, we celebrate because this is a fantastic Cleveland Cavaliers basketball victory. And you always have to celebrate the dubs. Make sure to let them know, let them know, let them know, let them know, let know. Oh, and by the way, let them know.